Good evening, everybody. This is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. It's quite late. It's 5:23 at 12:24 a.m. Monday. Well, I've got a few updates for you. I have not seen Paws. Paws is not here. Paws is my gray and white cat. He disappeared for a week so far, and I think I saw him once. I thought I saw him once, and I made a joke, oh, well, maybe he's got a girlfriend, right? But I have not seen him. He has not come to eat any day, and I believe that these criminals have stolen him the way they have stolen a lot of other cats. Cats were stolen also from me in Manalapan, New Jersey, and there was a woman named Maria who had a cat rescue, an alleged nonprofit. She's never been able to prove that she has a nonprofit status, but she was so envious and jealous and greedy that she would come into my cat colony. And a cat colony is a group of cats that I was caring for, that I licensed as a cat colony. And she would come in because she was so envious and jealous and greedy and entitled. She had a sense of entitlement because she's a very narcissistic and married to a cop, and she thinks she can get away with anything. But she would go into my colony and actually steal my cats, some of which she has placed for adoption on Adopt-a-Pet that I have located. But anyway, it doesn't surprise me that the same thing is happening here. And that wouldn't surprise me if some of the cats that are disappearing from my property here are going to those despicable, corrupt animal trafficking nonprofits, period. So, Paws is missing. Paws has not come to eat. This is not normal for him. He would sleep outside. He would sleep on the porch. He would sleep with the chickens. He's nowhere to be seen. And as you can tell from the egg dripping from that bathtub planter, the criminals are on my property every day, and I will prove again that they have been on my property again today. So I'm outside cutting the grass, mowing the grass on a ride-on mower, which is taking a long time. I was outside for probably 2.5 hours. Not only did they come into my house, they went into my laundry room and pulled out a dropper with eucalyptus oil that I've been using in the chicken coops and also in my laundry. And they burned the rubber dropper so that it no longer works. So they burned it with whatever laser or taser that they use when they come into my house. So they did that. They also went into the chicken coop where one of my chickens is sitting on eggs. And I know that somebody was in there because I keep a stack of papers above their door. And yesterday and today, one of them was always pulled out and thrown on the floor. And this is not naturally occurring. It doesn't happen by itself. It wasn't windy. Somebody had to go in there physically and remove it and dump it on the floor. So it happened yesterday. It happened today. When I went in to look at my girlie who's sitting on eggs, one egg was cracked open in front of her, but there is no baby there. So I'm wondering if somebody went in there to harass her and either steal the fetus baby or just crack the egg open. Because these people are sick and depraved lunatics. They're envious, they're jealous, they're greedy, entitled. This is human trafficking, folks. Make no mistake, they are the domestic terrorists. But I wanted to also tell you something, that when I moved from Manalapan, New Jersey, 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey, in a house that I lived in for 30 years as the original owner, when I moved from there, I had to move a 5-bedroom house by myself. 2 attics, a 2-car garage, and 2 outbuildings, in addition to lawn furniture, all kinds of things. It cost me almost $27,000 in moving expenses between my car and the mover. And that did not include what I paid to have some of my items packaged by those movers, who damaged, stole my items, and made a deal with the criminals to steal my passport and other belongings. It had come to my attention that rather than move all of my belongings in one trip as was originally discussed and originally planned, they moved my belongings into a warehouse, unpacked everything. Somebody went through my belongings that were already packed, ready to come here, as if I'm some criminal or something. They unpacked everything that was packed, stole items, broke items, punctured holes in my clothes. I unpacked some of the boxes today, and I have counted today only 18 sweaters, jackets, shirts that had holes intentionally punctured in them in the exact same places on the backs of the shirts. Some of them were absolutely filthy. And this is what your tax dollars pay. Revenge for hire, FBI. Revenge for hire, private contractors. Revenge for hire, your jealous loser neighbors and county lawyer and sheriff's department. So what they did is they took my 5-bedroom house and moved everything into a warehouse, opened everything, moved things around. I emptied up one box and I found my kitchen items mixed in with my bedroom items. I found food mixed in with my clothing. This is not what I paid for. And of course, when I filed a complaint against the moving company, they denied my claim, saying that I never took out that additional insurance, which I did do. I took out additional insurance for my antiques and other items that were also destroyed. This is beyond surveillance. For somebody to move from one state to another, it's a lot of planning. It's a huge expense and a lot of stress. I had to move rescue cats too. But before I moved in May of 2019, I filed a complaint with the Attorney General, State of New Jersey, Department of Law and Public Safety, Criminal Division. And part of the reason for that was the medical kidnapping of me on December 10, 2018 by the Manalapan Police Department and Tina Booth, Monmouth PESS, who's not a licensed anything, because I file police reports. And because the Manalapan Police Department fabricated a narrative about me. They lied. They basically lied. And just before that, in July 25, 2018, my newly installed perpetrator neighbor, whose first name is I can't even pronounce it, Yulia, a blonde-haired, nasty biatch, reported me to the Manalapan Police Department for walking on my driveway because she walked out of her house and instigated trouble with me, and then lied to the Manalapan Police Department, said that I cursed at her and her infant son was in the car, which was a lie. So this is the progression, folks. But before that, in May of 2018, that same perpetrator neighbor damaged my property. Her landscaper damaged my property and punctured holes in my landscaping. A lot of holes. They trespassed my property by not a few inches, but several feet. So in May of 2018, they ruined my property. I filed a complaint. Then they report me to the Manalapan Police Department in July 25, 2018. In December 10, 2018, the Manalapan Police Department, Lieutenant Thomas Mantle, who's now promoted to the captain, who's trained by the FBI, by the way. He went to their FBI training. He's so proud of it. And then the retired chief of police, Michael Fountain, who was claimed to state by his own police officer that he told his police officers during a hockey club, whatever, that he blew his load in his girlfriend's face. That's how vulgar and disgusting and despicable he is. Imagine having a chief of police who's that vile. But it doesn't surprise me, since he called one of his own police officers an enemy of the state and ordered him for a mental health exam and took away his firearms and then had him investigated and followed around by other police officers, all at the Manalapan taxpayer dollars. But these are the thugs that were stalking me. The thugs that were stalking me. So in December 10, 2018, they medically kidnapped me. In February of 2019, I filed a complaint with the Attorney General's Office, Criminal Division, the state of New Jersey, Gerber S. Grual. And you know what happened there, folks. They sent my complaint to the New Jersey Prosecutor's Office, who I'd already contacted. And then they sent it to the Sheriff's Department, who I, too, already contacted. And then after the Sheriff's Department reviewed it, they sent it back to the criminals. The individuals who were perpetrating the crimes against me. The Manalapan Police Department, who investigated their own sorry selves and found my claim to be unfounded. 61 pages of evidence unfounded. Envy, jealousy, greed, entitlement. Your tax dollars pay for these criminals. But this is leading up to what I want to read to you, folks. And I'm going to say a shout out to my friend Susan in New Jersey, who sent this to me. I won't give your last name or your title. I received a 6-page document today. It's dated March 26, 2018. So this is several months before the property damage by my newly installed neighbor, which was in May of 2018. So this memo goes out March 26, 2018. My property's damaged May. Then the criminal perpetrators report me to the police department for walking on my own driveway, July 25. I'm medically kidnapped December 18, 2018. And this is all while my house is up for sale, by the way, folks. They murder my cat the night before with directed energy weapons, December 2018. And then I filed a complaint with the Attorney General in February of 2019. And my house sold in April of 2019. Okay, so all within that time frame, torturing me while my house is listed for sale. So let me read this to you, folks, because this memo went out to all chief law enforcement officers. All chief law enforcement officers from the Attorney General of New Jersey. And I would venture to guess that such a letter went out by your Attorney General in your state. Please research this. March 26, 2018. Let me read the subject heading to you. Immediate notification of investigative tips and leads. Update to Attorney General Directive 2016-2017. This is a replacement of the October 9, 2007 guidelines for dissemination of investigative tips and leads received from the New Jersey Public and law enforcement guidelines. And underscored by recent events across the country and in New Jersey, information related to suspicious or criminal activity potentially related to terrorism or threatened acts of violence must be immediately reported to appropriate law enforcement authorities. To ensure that there are no gaps in the reporting process, this directive updates and replaces the guidelines for dissemination of investigative tips and leads received from the New Jersey Public and Law Enforcement 2007 guidelines. Now, Governor John Corzine's executive order, March 16, 2006, which was established in New Jersey Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness, and empowered it with the responsibility to administer, coordinate, lead, and supervise New Jersey's counterterrorism and preparedness efforts. As such, the NJOHSP plays an integral role in collecting information. And leads related to all forms of suspicious activity. But guess what, folks? It's only suspicious when the perpetrators report it. When we report suspicious activity, it's ignored. So assessing that information and disseminating it for appropriate follow-up by local, state, and or federal partners, like InfraGard, the COPS program, fusion centers, recognizing this crucial role, the 2007 guidelines called for NJOHSP to create and staff a tips and leads section, now called the Counterterrorism Watch, or the CT Watch section, for intake and initial evaluation of terrorism-related information, including the collection and assessment of suspicious activity reports, SARs, with a possible nexus to terrorism. Envy, jealousy, greed, entitlement equals trafficking, human trafficking. It now includes, among other things, threats of violence. And in parentheses it says, in any form, through any medium, and from any source, related to both hard targets, which are government facilities, military bases, etc., and soft targets. For example, schools, houses of worship, workplaces, shopping centers, transportation hubs, public gatherings, etc. In addition, all law enforcement officers are now directed to report any such information immediately to both their county terrorism coordinator and to the CT Watch. This dual reporting will not only allow for an immediate local law enforcement response if necessary, but will also permit NJOHSP to evaluate the reported information and disseminate it as appropriate. So guess what, folks? My criminal perpetrator neighbor here, my criminal perpetrator neighbor that was newly installed and moved in there, in May of 2018, ruined my property. And then in July 25, 2018, called the police on me. And guess what they did on my incident report? Because of this piece of crap, perpetrator, criminal, they called me a terror threat. That's right, folks. In July of 2018, they labeled me a terror threat. I was already targeted. But this is the way they renew their grants. And when they don't have something on somebody, they have to fabricate it. So they employ these perpetrator criminal informants. I wonder how much this biatch got paid for reporting me. They're still living there. I wonder who they're terrorizing now. So, definition: for the purpose of this directive, Counterterrorism Watch, or CT Watch, which was formerly known as the Tips and Lead Section